What's going on, everybody? Welcome on into this edition of Warchant TV. He is Michael Langston, recruiting analyst for Warchant.com. I'm Aslan Hajavandi. It's a call-in show. It's recruiting because Michael's here, everybody. Subscribe to Warchant.com. It is your ultimate Seminole sports source. After all, you can get this kind of access to Michael Langston practically every single day of the week, every single month of the year, all the time. And you get access to our great premium boards over on the ultimate Seminole sports source. Subscribe to the YouTube page, totally free. Hit the little notification button, set your bell for however frequently or infrequently you want to be notified when we drop these videos. And what else, Michael, can they do to help us out?
You can hit the like button, especially now. Everyone's a little giddy now. That was fun, Aslan. I mean, that was fun. I mean, that was an exciting weekend, and that was the game I had circled all along. I've said that from the start of the season. I still feel that way, that was a massive win for recruiting. It's huge in so many ways. Set your foundation up for 2022, and it's also going to help you, one, keep the guys you have, and then two, it's going to entice a lot of kids, 2021 class that's going to get excited about this class.
Well, we got callers already waiting, but Marcus Allen, I don't know if it's the Hall of Famer or not, from Southern Cal. Go right to it, Michael. You got some good news? Anything? Just give us some good news Marcus wants, man. He just wants good news.
Well, I think the good news is certainly with the guys that you have committed, Marcus. I think that certainly solidified a lot of those guys, if not all of them. I think you're going to have some prospects that probably were keeping an eye on FSU, but now they're going to probably seriously consider them, whether it's 2021 or 2022. And I think it certainly has given them a big boost. I think me and Ira had an article up about the high school coaches and the impact it's already making with them. I've already done a lot of reactions. I'm still waiting on more. I think we're going to have even more than that. And I think there's some juice. There's a good amount of juice with this FSU recruiting class now. I think the commits are blown away excited. I think you needed something to signature. Now I'd say this too, Marcus. Now they have something to pitch and sell to recruits. They before it was more like, okay, you come here, you can play early, you can help turn around and build this thing up. Now they're showing what they're capable of. Even though it was one half, they still found a way to get the job done, and that was ultimately the goal. To me, it didn't matter if they won by 1 or if they won by 30. Obviously, you win by 30, it's a big impact, but I think overall there's a lot of juice and there's a lot of excitement, and now the train's going to start rolling. I think this is a big boost. Now you want to got to stay consistent as far as the product they're showing on the field, but you see the buy-in, you see the way these players are fighting for their coach. You tell how much they really believe in everything that Norwell's doing, and recruits see that, so that's going to have a significant effect on recruiting, and there's a good amount of buzz, and like I said, you got something to seriously pitch to recruits now. It's not just, trust the vision or have faith or you can play here early. Now it's about, no, these guys can play. These guys are going to be a good team when they get all the pieces they need in there, and recruits look at that game where I could be the piece that really takes them to even a higher level than what we saw on Saturday night, even the first half or even the entire game. I mean, it's a massive win. It's a massive win for recruiting.
Willie Johnson, what is going on, man? What?
Have one with dollars. Get some. That's what I'm talking about. Willie, knock it out. I appreciate it, man.
Willie, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? You just I don't even know what to say, Mike. That's amazing. 150 American dollars, man. What's good, gents? Here's to a new winning streak. Let's get the party. This is the way to get the party started. This is like a high school, and you show up with a keg, like at 1:30. Everything's dying down, and you show up with a keg, and it's like, all right, let's go. Now it's really starting. Now it's really.
Willie's the guy that just walks in where everyone notices you're at a party, and Willie walks in. Okay, the party can start now. We got Willie's in the house. We can really kick it off now. Everything's excited. Let's roll, everyone. Now the party starts. I mean, We appreciate that, Willie. We really do. I mean, that's massive. I mean, I thought the game was massive, and then that was awesome. We appreciate it, Willie.
Incredible, man. Incredible. All right, let's take our first call of the day. Let's go ahead and put this one up here. It's none other than our man from the 757 Virginia Beach. Y'all know him as Gator Kirk. What's going down, Gator?
Hey, how you doing, Aslan? How you doing, Michael? What's up today?
I'm feeling good.
What's going on, Gator Kirk? We're living, man. We're living.
It's hard to not be excited today after certainly winning a big game like that, and then Willie dropping down the money bag was huge. Certainly gets everything rolling in an exciting way. But now, Kirk, we're great, man. It's a lot of excitement now, and it's a fun time. It's a fun time.
What's going on,
we
Gator?
We just need to build on that win and show like we grew against Notre Dame. We obviously grew a lot against North Carolina getting the win and keep it going this weekend. So you can choose either one of the information here. Have you heard anything since Saturday from Taiwan Malone? Or now that we won a big game, is there a chance that Godzilla will flip back?
Yeah, I mean, I'll touch on both of them. First of all, I haven't heard on Taiwan Malone, but I'll reach out to him. I've reached out to a lot of kids. That's one of the few I haven't. So I'll reach out to him, see what he thinks. Are you talking about Taiwan? I got you. Taiwan Malone with the defensive tackle. Yeah, I reached out to him. I'm just waiting to hear back from him. I do hear from people that from my FSU contacts that say he was very impressed. He was very impressed with the game. I haven't talked directly to him, but I'm waiting to hear back from him. But I've heard that he is liking what he's seeing. He really likes the pitch that FSU has with baseball and football. He knows FSU's a very traditionally rich premier baseball program. He knows that's a big attraction with FSU. But I think he also was very impressed with what he saw from that defensive line based on what people have talked directly to him with my contacts. I think they're very excited. Now, the other question was, what was the other question?
Brandon Jennings, are we getting him back?
Brandon Jennings. Yeah, the thing with that is, and I've said this before, I can't really put my finger on why he left, but when you commit or you decommit and then you commit in the same week, it's kind of something where you've had it planned for a while. So I don't think it's all just, he didn't want to join a rebuild or things were struggling. I think it was probably other things where, there's enticement to maybe go a different route, go somewhere different. But I've reached out to Brandon. I haven't heard from him yet, but I would think it entices him. It certainly raises his eyebrows, I would say, but I don't. Right now, I'd still think he would still go with Michigan, but at the same time, like I said, I think it's more than just FSU. I think it's something else that has something outside of FSU that maybe he just wants to get away. Maybe he wants to do something different and be different. But I'm still working on to find out the exact reasons. I'm working on that. I'm hoping to talk to his family soon and hoping that maybe Brandon wants to talk to me about it. He can elaborate, but I'm waiting to talk to him, and so I'm still working on that. I don't have a pulse on exactly 100%, but that's just my gut feeling on where they stand. Now, I'm not going to never rule it out. That it's a possibility. I mean, FSU was his favorite school growing up. If they continue to grow and we continue to see this product, we've seen it before where kids commit to other schools but their dream schools actually, like say FSU, and then they come back. So right now I'd say he wouldn't come back, but I would say if this continues, it's gonna be hard for him to turn down playing close to home, playing in a place that's turning around. You see the growth, you see the maturity, you see where this is headed in a positive way. So I think it's more consistency and seeing that every week. I think he's a guy that we're certainly going to have to monitor just in case.
How surprised were you about the decommitment, Michael?
I wasn't really shocked because, I just kept to myself because I had talked to his dad like 2 weeks before, and his dad was kind of like he didn't want to come into a class where it's just a rebuild type of class where We know where the prospects that Norvell's getting in this class, you have to have fits. It's about evaluations. It's not glossy. It's not, dynamically crazy, but it's really good fits when you look at the players they have in there. Obviously, you've added some nice premier guys like Sean Bray Jackson and stuff like that. Even Art Rod Orr, offensive tackle. So the glamour is picking up, but it's not like compared to other classes. It's not like, oh, this is a blow you away type of class. So I think that was a big thing when I talked to his dad that he wanted to, because when Bradley Monster came into his class, I think FSU had the #1 class, so that was kind of something that he looked at. But I think it's, like I said, I wasn't shocked, but just because of that conversation we had. But did I think he was going to decommit? No, I did not. I didn't see that coming as far as him decommitting right away. I just thought it was something where, okay, FSU needs to pick it up. They need a big win, a signature win, which they got over the weekend, but they just need to pick it up as far as showing the progress and growth on the field. But I did not expect him to decommit. I had not heard that he would decommit. There was rumors about it, but I didn't hear it from anybody like really close to Brandon that he was going to do it. So that's why I say I think there's more to it than just stuff outside of FSU. I think it's stuff outside of FSU more than it is just the struggles. I think that's a part, but I think there's something else, like whether he just wants to get away and wants to go to a program that's a traditionally rich program like Michigan, although they're not exactly what you call elite program. They've had their struggles. Can't beat Ohio State for nothing. You're not even competing with Ohio State. So yeah, there's struggles there, but it's a smooth road program where they're winning 7 games a year and stuff like that, and established program. Harbaugh's been there a little while, so it's kind of established in that way. But at the same time, it's not a premier, what you consider elite program. So I think there's something else to it. I would also throw in, Devin Bush Sr. is there at Michigan. He's an analyst. Obviously, he was big in getting his son to go to Michigan. So I'm sure that he's talked with Monster some, and I'm sure they've had some conversations. And certainly Devin Bush's career worked out pretty well at Michigan. Obviously, I think first-round pick, for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I think it worked out well for him, and maybe that sold him on, just what he can do at Michigan.
Yeah. All right, Gator. We appreciate the call, man.
Yeah, it would really help if the NCAA would lift that dead period, but that's not going to happen before the end of the season. So I appreciate you guys, everything you do. Appreciate you answering all the questions and all the coverage that you all do. If you all out there haven't joined Warchant, you might as well go ahead and sign up. The deal's not going to get any better. As we're winning, always support Zaxby's. Hit that thumbs up because it really does matter. And as always, go Noles, and let's beat those Cards this weekend. You'll have a great night. Thank you again, gentlemen.
There we go. Gator Kirk, Virginia.
Always, man.
Virginia in the Hay House. Man, James B. coming in big, man. Big dog in it. Big dog. Horn gang for life.
Dollar bills, y'all.
He wanted to know about Brandon Jennings. You already went and answered the question about Brandon Jennings, so he just wants to say go Noles, man. We appreciate you, James. James came tough, came hard on the post-game show, then last night with Corey and I, and then today, man, with the support, we can't say enough, man. Thank you so much. It's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah, I heard you guys were up till like 3 a.m, Aslan, doing the game chat. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's Tom. That's Tom Lang. And I was working on the wrap with Ira and Corey, getting that thing ready. But yeah, it was a long night, but it was what an awesome night. What it just felt great to cover a program with such a huge win. I felt good about that game going into it. Not having Terry, I didn't want to totally go head over heels and say that they're going to win the game, but just the way they played against Notre Dame, and then to finally get a top 5 win, it makes you really excited about what the future holds. Speaking of that future, Michael, Big Mac 3310. Big Mac, you get a little bit of love. I'll give you a little horn.
Dollar bills, y'all.
As well. When you think about the 2021 class, Michael, what excites you the most? What keeps you up at night?
Well, everything keeps me up at night. Everyone knows I'm a late guy. Sometimes I'll post stuff at 3 or 4 a.m. Aslan's even asleep by then. So everything keeps me up at night. I'm always working. So but yeah, I mean, what excites me is the evaluations that I see when I watch, top to bottom with this class. I mean, you look at all the commits they have, the evaluations are top notch. You see when I look at these guys that are in class that they already have committed, guys like Luke Altemeyer, guys like Joshua Burrell, guys like Joshua Farmer at the strong side defensive end position, guys like Byron Turner out of New Orleans. You look at the fit and you see, yes, I can see these guys fitting and doing what they do. Their strengths fit to what FSU wants to bring. Even Malik McClain, big receiver, kind of similar to some of the stuff that Warren Thompson does that he can bring you. Probably a little more speed. Just guys like that. I love the offensive line that they already put together. I think Bryson Estes, Kimo Makanole, all these Roderick Orr, these guys. I mean, they're really positioning their class very well. Obviously, defensive tackle, you want to see more in there. They did get Chambray Jackson, who could grow into a possible defensive tackle if you need to. If not, he can be your defensive end. He can certainly he's certainly one-on-one. He's a monster to deal with as far as a one-on-one matchup. Very good prospect. So there's the fits are what really just jump out to me, because that's what it's about the first year. I've said this so many times that first year class is always going to be about evaluations and fit. It's not about glamour. It's about, can these guys come in here and take you to another level and fit what the program is? And if you look at what FSU does, even from last game, where the biggest shocker to me was just the pass rush. It was like, we haven't seen that all year. You started to see these athletic guys, and that's kind of the guys that they're recruiting. You see guys that can do some of the same things that can get after the quarterback, and then you see guys in the class as far as on the offensive side of all. I mean, Luke Altemeyer has to be licking his chops just watching this offense. Like, yeah, that's what I can do. I'm mobile. I can make the throws, quick passes. Go downfield when it's there. Can make those plays. So when you see these things, to me, about the class that excites me is the fit for this for each guy that you look at. Even guys like one guy that doesn't get enough love that he should is tight end Jackson West. I love watching this kid play. I mean, I watch his games like every week when I stay up late Friday, or I watch it Saturday. This kid is really fun to watch when you see how he's going to really open up that offense as far as open up those speedy receivers and those down the field threats. He's going to really open up the middle of the field, going to get some big plays. I think he had 150 yards and a touchdown last week. He's not on a team that you would consider like great, but he always makes plays. He's always explosive in their passing game, and always whether he's blocking or whether he's catching balls. I think he's really, really a great pickup, and he's a signature, in my opinion. He's a Norville guy, where he's a signature of this class. When you watch him, a great blocker on the edge, can certainly seal the blocks on the outside, very athletic if you need him to be as far as a tight end. He's going to really open up that field. We've seen some with Cameron McDonald. I mean, he is special. He is very athletic. And then Preston Daniel had a big play on third down near the goal line where he got them down the field. I think with this kid, he's going to bring you a lot more downfield threats. He's going to probably play quite early when you look at his game. He seems to be physically already there. I think say 6'5", 240. He's a pretty big kid, so he's got the size you already look for, and very good hands. The hands with Jackson really stands out to me. So I think that's a guy that doesn't get enough love in this class is the job that Jackson West has done. But he epitomizes what this class is when you look at fits, and that's the thing that I'm excited about. Now, there's still stuff to go. They need some defensive ends. We know they need pass rushers. That's a big deal. Need to get more of those guys. Obviously, that's likely going to happen in the transfer portal market. But defensive tackles need to load up there. I think obviously over the weekend that certainly is it gets you excited as far as the defensive line starting to play. That's going to help your defensive line recruiting. I've said that at the start of the year. They got to get production from those guys up front. Marvin Durden, Robert Cooper, all those guys certainly delivered and were big in that win for FSU. So you need to add in more of those guys. need to get somebody to replace Brandon Jennings, assuming he doesn't come back. You need linebackers. That might be another one where you go to the portal or your JUCO level to get somebody as far as that. And I think secondary, they look pretty good. I mean, they want to add one more. Terrion Arnold will be their pick. That's not going to be easy with the Giants you're going against, but certainly I think the class is shaping up pretty well, Aslan. When you look at the positions, it's just there's a few positions that are kind of weak where, like defense tackle, defense, you want to see a few more pass rushers in there, and then obviously a few more linebackers.
How about this? You mentioned Terrion Arnold. Shout out to Khalil Young, man. We appreciate it. Thanks very much, man. And nothing goes unappreciated on here, I assure you. Where do you think we stand with Terrion Arnold? He said he wanted to see dogs, Michael. There were a lot of puppies out there first 5 weeks.
Yeah, he had told me when I stopped by the school that one time, he said, I really want to see more of a pass rush when I watch FSU. Obviously, in this big game, he saw that for the first time this year. So I think it's a plus. It's certainly opens his eyes, and it's like, and he's been almost rooting for these guys, Aslan, to be good. I mean, he's the one guy, like, I'm not worried about where they're at right now. As far as where he stands, I would say Georgia, Alabama, Florida, those are still the teams. But I think what FSU really jumped out there to him, for one, this is the first game where I think FSU really jumped out. I mean, it's like, you know what, I can play there. And I think they could utilize me. Now, he still seems to be a ways away. Seems like he's good friends with linebacker Xavier Sori, who looks like he's kind of trending towards Georgia. So that would be something to watch as far as if he goes there, that might entice, Arnold to be, or puts Georgia in a better position. But I think it puts them in the picture now. I don't think they were really in the picture. I think they needed a game where they could signify what they are or what they can be. And with Terrion, I think he saw that this weekend. He was pretty excited. I think he was blown away in that first half. If everyone sees his tweet, he's like, oh, my God, FSU, because he was blown away. Now, if they would have kept that up for a full game, I think it would have an even bigger effect on him. But we know this is a growth team, and there's going to be a process. They're going to be fantastic sometimes, and sometimes it's just they're fighting through the struggle of playing consistently and playing discipline and not having stupid penalties like the play with Dante Lucas or the play with Robert Cooper. I mean, those kind of plays it shows you how small it can change the game, and so you got to stay away from that stuff, and that's the growth of where you're going through with this team. But I still think they trail those 3 schools, but I think they moved up. I think they made a nice surge there with Terrion Arnold. There's still work to do, and I think if you show consistency and keep exploding, this kid's almost rooting for FSU to give him a reason to seriously consider them, and I think they're moving up. They're trending up after this game. I think this game definitely was a positive for FSU and Terrion Arnold. It certainly helped.
Oh my God! Yeah, man, that was good. That was good, man. I really
that was right after I think Jordan Travis let him down on a minute drive. Which, by the way, that was to me the best moment of the game. Was that said a lot about what the Norvell era is going to be. Is like 1:02 left on the clock, gets the ball, runs some nice plays that aren't going to hurt you. Obviously, he got a big scramble. Next play hits Warren Thompson. Next play, Cameron McDonald touchdown. 27 seconds. That's what kids want to see. They want to see you attack and put your foot down and just destroy a team and finish the half off. Now they need to show that with a full game type of thing, but that's where the oh my God came from Terrion. So I think there's a lot of juice with this game and a lot of recruiting and positive vibes. And you see now the recruits are seriously buying them. Recruits that are seem like Destin Hill, Catravion Hargrove, those guys that are targets for them, that kind of game really helps your chances and really builds a strong positive buzz as far as FSU recruiting. So that's why I say it was such a big recruiting weekend.
All right, let's take a phone call. They've been hanging tight for a long bit. I think it's Daryl up in Thomasville, North Carolina, joining us. He's a pillar of the show, I guess you could say. Daryl, is that you?
Yes, sir. That's me.
There we go, man. Thomasville, North Carolina in the house, man. How does this one feel? How does this one feel, man? Up in Tar Heel country.
Boy, this one feels good. All the Tar Heels up here in Carolina, they quiet. You don't hear. Only thing you hear up here is the wind blowing. So
There you
Excellent.
go.
What you got for Michael, Daryl?
Gator Kurt kind of got my question about Malone. I was thinking about the defensive line coach at Tennessee. Being let go
Right.
last weekend. I didn't know if that might help FSU's chances as far as Malone goes. But I guess I'll kind of turn to Mr. Hill, the wide receiver. How does a game like that help our chances with him? Seeing Travis, get the ball to different receivers, get the ball to tight ends and moving the ball. I know the second half wasn't as good as the first, but that first half was almost like a picture perfect game.
Yeah, I mean, and to your Malone thing, I think it certainly does, help FSU with anytime a defensive line coach is gone. I mean, that's a big thing because those are the guys they talk to a lot. Now, baseball's a big part of it, so I think if you replace them with somebody good, you could possibly move your way back in there. But I think it certainly is a positive for FSU. As far as Destin Hill, that's a big deal. I mean, that's why I said a lot of this game was the offense, and recruits are going to want when they see that 1 minute and 2 seconds drive where they just went down there. Most teams, you're up 24/7, you just be excited about that, but they put the foot down, and that's what recruits are looking for. They're looking for that flow, and we've seen that ever since Jordan Travis has gotten the job. It's a different looking offense. I mean, even Sean McDonough from ABC is doing the game. He was talking about, man, it is so amazing how much these guys have improved on offense in just a matter of weeks. I mean, how much dynamic they are. So I think it's a big deal. I think you see your recruits see the flow of it. I mean, I think Destin's pretty excited in watching that game, so I'm sure he was watching, and I think it helps them significantly as far as offense because that's what you got to have to get guys that are uncommitted. Guys like Destin Hill and K. Travion Hargrove, those are the kind of games you need. Now, you want to see it on the consistent vibe of you're showing that every single week. That was a big deal as far as going out there, performing against the top 5 team, getting the job done, laying 31 on them. First of all, I don't care if it's a half or a game. That's very impressive to lay 31 points on a top 5 team and win that game and find a way to finish it off and get that W. Like their recruits aren't bothered by there's moments where you don't look great. I mean, second half they did not play a great second half at all. I mean, but kids see what flashes. They want to see something that spurs the growth and spurs the excitement and where they can see how they fit into that system. And I think Destin Payson or Hill or whatever his last name is now, I think that game certainly ignites FSU's chances again with him because of he got a chance to see what this offense will look like, and he can kind of visualize how he would fit into that offense. So I think it certainly helps.
Right. I have one more question for you, if it's okay.
Yeah.
With Jennings moving on to Michigan, is there a linebacker that Florida State's really kind of zero in on that we might can start kind of keeping our eye on that might fit well in our defensive scheme?
I think there's a lot of targets that they're still measuring. Obviously, they just offered the Mississippi State commitment. I want to just hang with me, Daryl. I will find out that name of that kid. It is very difficult to say, by the way. But they just offered this kid not too probably earlier last week. Just like Brandon, very good inside linebacker. Can do a lot of different things in the defense. He certainly can get at the passer. He's very good, a very physical linebacker. His name is Navon Tweak Strong. That's his name. Inside linebacker out of Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College. It's a JUCO kid. He's committed to Mississippi State right now. He's a guy FSU offered. That's going to be tough to get because he's originally from Mississippi, so that's going to be a tough kid to pull away from. Usually, those in-state schools, once they commit, they're not easy to change their mind. Obviously, Chris Marv knows him well from what I hear. So there's some connections there. They're working on him hard. But besides that, I would say I'm still trying to figure out who the other main targets. I think Patrick Payton's another one we've mentioned in hot boards of, committed to Nebraska, really highly interested in FSU before he committed to Nebraska. But that was during the Willie Taggart saga that was going on. So I think FSU could go in there, pull him back in, and he could possibly kind of fit that pass rushing defensive end, maybe Fox role, even so to speak, if you want him to play that. But I think those are two guys that just jump out at me right now. But he's the main guy so far that I've seen them working on. I think there's going to be more offers, and I should have more names either this weekend or even for the chat. The next time we do a chat, I think I should have some more realistic targets. But those are kind of a few that I know of right now.
All right, Daryl.
All right, all right, thank you guys. Y'all have an awesome show. I really enjoy listening to you, and y'all keep up the good work. And guys, y'all know the drill. So I'm not gonna go into it. So y'all keep up the good work and go Noles.
That is right, man. Daryl in Thomasville, North Carolina, man. We appreciate the call. He's Captain D_63 on Warchant. He's been around for a long, long time. So we do appreciate the support. Back to the questions here on YouTube. Khalil Young's back, throwing $5 in the jar. Thank you, Khalil. We appreciate it. Overall, talent-wise, how would you rank Luke, Purdy, and Travis?
I mean, what I like about all of them is there's a difference to them. Luke's mobile. He's worked a lot on his speed, which he's gained a lot of speed. I mean, he's a much better runner now than he was last year. Now he's not Jordan Travis. Not many people are. I think Chubba Purdy fits that kind of Jordan Travis thing, but he adds a dynamic of being a really good passer. So I think Purdy, out of the group, I mean, Purdy's the one that just can be so dynamic on both sides, but we haven't seen him play yet. So, I mean, that's the thing. I think a lot of people are waiting, including myself, just to see, how he fits as far as what he does. But I think with Luke, coming into it, he's the best pure passer out of that group. I mean, I love the way he reads the field. I love the way his ability in the pocket. He's very calm and poised. He's certainly the passer. Travis is kind of what Eric Kresser told me when I interviewed. We did the big story when he transferred from Louisville. He's like, this kid's dynamic. I mean, everyone questions like his arm, but I mean, I think he's shown that. Like, look, he's a good thrower, not a great, but a good thrower. And what I like about Jordan is if you look at his passes, his receivers always have a chance to make a play on the ball almost every time. The ball placement is very good when you watch Travis. Dynamic runner, obviously. I think Purdy is that as well. When people get to see him, I think Luke's more of a different type of thing where Luke can run, but his ability to read the field is very elite.
Khalil, we appreciate your question, man. Let's keep things rolling here on the warchant.com recruiting call and show with Michael Langston. 850-805-5911, by the way, boys and girls, is the call-in line if you want to call in and talk to Michael and ask him his questions. Let's see here what we got. We got somebody arriving to the party. It's a none other than Mr. Ray Pereira. What is going on, Ray? Let's go, Ray. Horn gang.
Dollar bills, y'all.
That's right. All right, Ray. He has to say this to you, Michael. Still thinking top 15 or lower? He's telling me to look at the depth chart. Thanks.
I think top 15, top 20 would be really good if you add in all the transfers that they likely could get. That's top 15, top 20, if not a little bit even higher than that 15 mark. But I think top 15, top 20 is always the baseline that I've really stayed consistent with, because that's what you look at these classes that are first year classes. We saw that with, North Carolina last year, and even Miami's their first year is very similar. So I think if you get top 15, top 20, that's a really solid job in your first year. And I keep rehashing this to the point of the fits and the evaluations. Like, you have to get these evaluations right. And based on what I see a lot of guys that are certainly fits to the type of players that Norvell wants or uses in places he's been. So I think the fits are the real good thing. But yeah, as far as class ranking, top 15, top 20 is very likely, even a little higher than that 15, depending on what you get from the transfer market or even some JUCOs and how highly regarded the JUCOs are that you get. I think you can get somebody that's a highly rated JUCO, it goes up a little bit, or if the transfer is a guy that it's like a Jay Sean Corbin that can come in there and certainly help you, or Fabian Lovett. You get somebody like that, yeah, that could boost it up even higher.
All right, Ray, we appreciate you, man. I just I don't know, like I need to like figure out. I'm just gonna figure out different languages to say thank you, so I can just stop saying thank you all the time when you do this. We do appreciate it, man. You as well, James. You're a pillar. Willie Johnson too. Just
you're in another level, Willie. We can't. I don't even know what to say to Willie. Hey, we appreciate all the donations, guys. We do not take that for granted. Trust me. We celebrate them because we're really blessed that you guys would give your time and your donations, or whatever you want to call it, to Warchant and the time we're putting in, and we really appreciate it.
Yeah. All right, how about this? Let's take one from Facebook. Ruben Velasco asks Michael, who is a top player left that we have a shot at?
Well, there's a lot of top players, Ruben, but certainly Taiwan Malone, we discussed heavily, defensive tackle. That is a massive recruitment. I think FSU, Ole Miss are the two teams that I hear the most with him from people I talk to. I think certainly running back Catravion Hargrove is a massive also recruitment. Penn State, South Carolina are the other teams in there. He said before to me, FSU's recruiting him the hardest. I think that's a big one. Obviously, wide receiver Destin Hill, 4-star recruit. Raved a little bit early on about Florida, but they've had some issues with the COVID, so we haven't seen them since they lost. So I still think FSU is the team to beat there. I like FSU's chances still with Destin Hill. So there's a lot of guys. Offensive tackle Ruquan Buckley, who briefly talked with, was also very impressed with the win that FSU has. They would like to get a few more high school or JUCO kids, and then hit that transfer market. Maybe you get one or two guys there as well. So I think there's several guys in there. Linebacker, obviously, we're still waiting on those targets. I think Patrick Payton is an important recruitment for FSU. They certainly have a shot there. They're working on him very, very hard. So I think we're going to see a lot more, even newer prospects now, after this game. I think it's going to pique the interest of several kids that want to see, or if they continue to see consistency from FSU, I think you're going to hear some new names in there that might surprise you, just because when you start getting an upstick and consistency and playing on the field, kids see that and they want to, that might be a place that they want to consider or heavily consider, or even watch a game and go to. So would not surprise me if we see, like, when FSU gets around to playing your next home game, or when they play, Clemson, obviously that might be a game that kids just want to go see. Like, they're not expecting to go in there when you play Clemson and win, but they want to see what these guys look like and how they match up with, the number one team in the country. So I think the juice is flowing, for recruiting. And I think there's a lot of excitement with FSU recruiting. And like I said, I think there's going to be some new names that pop up there if this consistency continues. And obviously it's a big game this weekend, high noon against Louisville. That's a big one. You go in there and you win and you show more consistency, and we continue to see the growth each week. That's a big deal. That's a big deal with recruits when they consistently see that. Obviously, nothing is going to take away from your signature moment. Every first-year coach needs a signature moment. There's nothing they can do. Obviously, you don't want them to go fall flat and lose every rest of the game, but there's nothing they can do, anybody can do, or any coaches can do that are recruiting against FSU can take away that signature moment. It's there, it's done. They've already made the imprint on the program. Now it's about consistency and keeping that ball on the prize and focus on getting better each week. And now it's about just kids seeing that consistently. And if you do that, there's going to be an upstick in recruiting in 2021. I think this game in general, though, was the best thing for the 2022 class, because you need something to get your foot in the door and get excitement and put your print on the program. And I think they did that. But those are some of the prospects, top players, Ruben, that I know of right now.
Zach Ferris asks, do we have any wide receiver commits equal to or possibly better than Tamorion Terry?
No, and Tamari Terry is one of the best receivers in the country. I think we're starting to see, the Tamarion we saw, last year, all year long. Obviously, he seemed to keep a little banged up, and then the last 2 weeks he was good, and then I think he had his knee drained, and so he might be back sooner than later. Who knows? Norvell kind of hinted that it's going really well. People that watch the game, if you watch the interview with Norvell after the game, you can see Terry jumping up in the background. So he seemed pretty ready and excited. No, they don't have anybody that's to that level. I mean, Tamari is one of the best receivers in the country, but they do have guys that really are fit everything they do. Joshua Burrell, who I know watches this show all the time, shout out to Josh. But Josh is a very good fit. Kind of he's a matchup problem when you watch him. Very big receiver, physical receiver, kind of Orson Charles like when you watch his game. Just can do a lot of different things. Maybe line him up at H back and do a lot of different things with that size he brings. Very good hands, catches pretty much anything. Can like I say, he's very tough when he's matched up with smaller corners, and he's very tough when he's matched up with linebackers who's a little bit faster than those guys. So we go back to that fit talk, and he kind of fits everything that they look for in having. They want guys that are going to give you matchup problems. Malik McClain, Joshua Burrell, both of those guys give you matchup problems. Obviously, if you finish that off with Destin Hill, that's another big matchup problem because he's got size and speed, and certainly a guy that would cap off the class, I think, with receiver. And if anybody was up there with Terry, you would probably put Destin Hill up there if you want to, I guess, compare. But let's make no mistake about it. Like Tamari Terry is one of the best receivers in the country. So to get somebody that matches him, that's going to be really difficult.
Keep it same rolling. Let's still talk about pass catchers. Keith Barnes, what's going on with the tight end position?
Oh, they're doing well. I mean, they have Juco coming in and Kobe Gross. He'll be here in the summer. I've already raved about Jackson West. They wanted to get River Helmsley. He committed to Georgia Tech. We'll see if he reconsiders that, if Georgia Tech continues to struggle, or if FSU continues to play the way they're playing. I think the FSU liked him a lot early on, but they could have been a situation where they're satisfied with what they have, the two guys they have coming in. Like I said, Jackson West is one of the most unappreciated guys in this class, that he should be getting a lot more love than he gets from, I think, fans and pundits that watch FSU. He's a very good tight end, brings a lot to your program, probably might even play some baseball because he's a 3-sport star. So I like his game a lot. I think he fits where there, and they need some help at the tight end position. Carter Boatwright is a freshman. He seems that it's taking a while to get him going. Obviously, we saw some nice things out of Preston Daniels and blocking and receiving the game. And then Cam McDonald's a freak. I mean, he's very athletic. He's a guy that is a big problem in that passing offense. But you need more of those guys. You need more athleticism. So I could see them going after a third tight end, but I think they sit pretty good when you look at where they're at in this 2021 class at the tight end position.
There you go. Let's see here. People are still asking about the stuff that you already talked about, but I'm sifting through. Phone lines open, obviously, 850-805-5911. Let's see here. People want to know about Brandon Jennings. I already spoke about Brandon Jennings. People want to know what about running backs? You mentioned Travion Hargrove. Is there anybody else running back-wise that's out there for Florida State that they're in the mix for?
I think Travion Hargrove, Byron Cardwell out of California, who's not in any hurry to make a decision, which is certainly good news for FSU. I do talk to somebody in the West Coast that tells me they talked directly with Byron. He was very impressed with the different ways the running backs are being utilized in this offense that we've seen the last 2 or 3 weeks. I think he watched the Notre Dame game, and he also watched the North Carolina game, and he sees a lot of variety as far as what they do. I think that's kind of stood out to him. I think that's certainly he's gotten excited about that, and I think Travion Hargrove is another one. Jalen White's another one. Don't know if Jalen would be a take like those other two. I think Jalen pushed back his commitments. That kind of tells me like maybe he wasn't a take in this class, at least not yet. And then receivers, J.J. Henry is another one to go along with Destin Hill. I think those are kind of the main ones for right now at this stage. I think those are the guys to focus on, receiver and running back.
Well, I mean, we've been talking about defensive ends. Are there any names out there defensive end wise, or do you think that's ultimately something that they're going to have to go to the portal to probably get remedied?
Yeah, I think at least right now, unless there's a JUCO that we see jumps on the radar, I think it's probably going to be you need to go in the portal. And to be honest, it's probably a good thing they get one or two in the portal from the portal, because they need some guys that can help them right away and come in there and make an instant impact. You want guys that they just need somebody who can get after the pass, that knows how to get pass rush, that's really good edge rusher, and I think you need immediate help there. So I think I've said this, that's the number one, in my opinion, the number one need. It might shock people, but it's the number one need, in my opinion, in as far as in the portal of what FSU needs, because I think the offensive line is starting to shape up. We've seen dramatic improvement as far as what they've done. Guys like Robert Scott, Thomas Schrader, or even freshmen that are coming out there. This line looks dramatically better as far as what I saw a year ago. They're starting to fill up that depth. They're starting to get the depth guys that they need. They still need more. Doesn't mean I wouldn't go to portal for offensive linemen. You certainly will, but I think what they need the most is pass rushers, and they need them essentially in this defense. And that would, if you have pass rushers, Aslan, you can work around your defense. I mean, that pass rushers can make you mask and work around the stuff, the weaknesses in your defense. If you don't have pass rushers, it's really hard. Even if you have good linebackers, it's really hard to really set your defense of what you are. You have to have pass rushers. That's why I say it's vital for FSU to get one or two in there. And I think they're probably going to end up, it'll be portal-wise where they'll get those guys. So that's what I think it's going to come down to at that position.
All right. Wayne Baldy, you mentioned him a minute ago. Not Wayne Baldy, but J.J. Henry. Any news on J.J. Henry?
Yeah, FSU, Texas, Oklahoma. He's another one that's not in a hurry to decide. Has a really good relationship with Chris Thompson. I've heard he really likes this offense. He's another guy I'm waiting to hear directly that from, but I do think he likes what he saw the last 2 weeks, especially the North Carolina game. So I think he's high on FSU, but he's all the way in Texas. So, that's tough when kids can't visit. So you would think the Midwest teams probably have the advantage there, just because they can, he can see them more often. If he wants to drop by for a game, I mean, I'm sure it's not as difficult compared to FSU. Hunter Washington's working really hard on this kid. Hunter's been on him for a long time, so it's definitely still highly interested in FSU. I haven't seen a drop off in that interest level. Obviously, Destin Hill is the main focus. I mean, if you get Destin, then I think if you want to take a fourth, he would be the guy to watch. I still think they would take him. Like, if Destin Hill committed, I don't think they would just back away from JJ. I think they would still push, but I think they're still very active with him.
Okay. How about this from Evan McCool? We actually have two people that asked this question, but Evan was first on the trigger, so he gets his name on the screen. With all the problems that Florida State's had the last few years, like we really haven't. I mean, people complain about Ricky's inconsistency, but whatever. But now that's like you have a legitimate football team, and you see what field goals can do for you when you miss them in a game. People want to know, where's the next great thing? Are there any big-time kickers out there?
There's one kicker in general. Aslan, we're going to have to do some research here.
All right, I'm down for it. Let me know.
Okay. Cairo, Georgia, syrup makers have a really good kicker. I do not know his name, but I'm going to try to research at the same time that Aslan's doing it.
Noah Jones? Noah Jones?
That's it. Yeah, Noah Jones. He's a guy that I know FSU's been very active with. The problem is I don't know if they have a scholarship to have two place kickers on their team. So that's really the struggle. This kid's very good, like very good. I've seen him a few times. I think Georgia's already offered him a scholarship, so he's very involved. And he's a guy that I know they're active with. they're very active with him. I know they talk to him a lot. The problem is I don't know if they can offer a full scholarship. I think it might be, a preferred walk-on type of thing, or, maybe a gray shirt type thing might work, there. But he's very good punter, very good kicker. Certainly, fits a lot as far as he would be a good fit as far as what I hear, and I know FSU's pretty active with him, and I think their best chance, if you don't get this kid from Cairo, I think your best chance is, just need to go out there and get somebody that's a PWO that can go in there to bring more competition to the table. Look, guys, I know everyone's critical of Ryan Fitzgerald, but or is it Fitzpatrick or Fitzgerald? I think it's Fitzgerald. Yeah.
Fitzgerald.
Okay, Fitzgerald. I know Ryan pretty well. I've seen Ryan a lot. I've watched him 3-4 different games out of high school. Coach JP says a lot of mechanical stuff that was going on. He's still a true freshman. So I wouldn't just go ahead and just give up and he just stinks. I mean, I've seen this kid enough. The kid can boon the ball. He's got the leg. So I'd give it a little time before you just all of a sudden start, we need a kicker, but there's struggles. Obviously, you can't have a kicker going out there missing 38-yard field goals. I mean, you can't. So it needs to be an open competition, in my opinion. Certainly, you got to have the kicker that's going to make the 38, the 40-yard field goals. I mean, that just can't happen where you have misses like that. So, yes, he's going to have to improve. But I've seen enough of this kid where I liked him when I watched him. This kid's tremendous on kickoffs, very good range as far as a kicker. But kickers are weird, man. It's a confidence thing. And when their confidence, if their confidence gets off or their mechanics are off, it can look really bad. So I wouldn't just cross him off. That's a position that you really have to let develop as far as, the season goes on.
I got you. All right. Derek Adams, welcome to the party. Says he's late to the show. Don't matter, man. When you drop $24.99 on the tip jar, man, get some air horn, man. Get a little
dollar bills, y'all.
Dollar bill, y'all. He's late to the show. He asked, would Florida State have an interest in Puka Williams? He's the running back from Kansas who just recently announced that he's going to opt out due to personal issues. Apparently, his mom's battling some health problems. I just don't know where he would fit into plans because it's not like he can opt in right now for Florida State this season, Michael.
Yeah, so. I mean, and the thing is, if his mom has problems like that, what's going to make him opt back in with somebody else? So I haven't heard anything with Puka yet. Obviously, they're gonna. And here's the thing with the portal thing. Everyone's like, oh, the Willie Anderson kid that went to Louisiana Tech and ended up at Michigan. They're going to be very selective with this because the thing is, you got to understand, like, it's going to be a massive year in portal. There's going to be a lot of guys in the next, when we get near the end of the season, we're going to see a lot of guys jump in, into the portal. So they got a chance to be selective of what they want. Obviously, offensive tackle, defensive ends, maybe a linebacker are going to be the needs that FSU would want to add. Receiver, I don't think, unless it's like a perfect fit and there's a relationship and you can see that fit into the team, I don't think you necessarily need to go that route with a grad or transfer for receiver. But I think offensive line, defensive end, linebacker, I think those are the positions you kind of look for. But like I said, you're going to they need to be consistently, just careful with every pick that they make. And I think they're going to do that. I think they're going to be very selective to the guys they get. I mean, if they go full after somebody and they get them, I think they've done a lot of research. They've spent a lot of time as far as they see this guy fitting. And it kind of goes transfer portal is just an extension of recruiting, basically. So they're having to evaluate these guys on, can this guy fit as far as what we want to do? And can this guy play here? And does his character fit what we want? That's a big thing. There's a lot of talented guys that they pass on that, character-wise, maybe they just don't think they fully are grasping what Norvell is trying to do. It's like you have to have the right fit as far as character and talent. So I think they're going to be selective. As far as Puka, I haven't heard anything. So right now I'd say no, I haven't heard any interest, but we'll see if that develops.
Why do you need a running back? You got LaDamian Webb, man.
That dude's a beast, man.
I'm fine with that kid.
They got to find a way to get that guy the ball more. I mean, that guy is scary good. The Damian Webb, and the thing is that when I saw him in the first week, I'm like, yeah, he's just okay. But then, man, those next few weeks when you watched him play, he was clearly, it wasn't even close that he was the best back on the field. And the last few weeks, he's just been a monster. He is so difficult to bring down. I mean, he runs with very good vision, sees the field really well, is difficult to handle even initial contact, and he's a fun guy to watch. Like, if you love good offenses, he's a fun guy to watch.
Yeah. Nothing better than a 4 or 5-star, Michael, unless you actually can flip him and then bring him onto your program. Two lifer ask, any 4 or 5-star flips out there still?
Not yet. I mean, I don't think there's a 4 or 5-star flip. I think there's one that should be a 4-star, which is Christopher Thomas Jr. out of Dunbar High School in Fort Myers. I think there's a really good shot FSU flips him. I've said that, gosh, countlessly, but everyone knows that, but no need to mention that. But he's a guy that's very, very close with Odell. His family's close with Odell. He's from Tallahassee. He's had a really good season. I mean, this kid's really developed into, I mean, they've done a hell of a job there at Dunbar High School with him. He's a transfer from Rickards. He has gotten stronger. His technique is so much better now. He has been almost unblockable in most of their games that they played already this year. He's a kid I like a lot. I think he brings a lot to the table. He's a guy, if you're talking about a flip, that's the guy that I would circle. Now, as far as other highly rated guys, yeah, you're going to, like I said, you're going to get more guys that jump out to you that I haven't mentioned, but there's no like 4 or 5 stars that I would say for sure that would flip right now. I think Patrick Payton, we've mentioned him. He's one to watch. Those guys, but none of this a 4 or 5-star just yet. But I tell you this, there's going to be a lot of recruits after that game. As long as it consistently stays up with this offense, there's going to be a lot of guys that I haven't mentioned before that I think are going to pop on the radar.
There we go. What's going on with Amarian Cooper, Michael Langston?
Nothing really. Just he's listening to other schools. He's another one that was excited about that game. Certainly. Now I'm not slamming anybody, but just like out of all the DBs, I think he would be the most expendable. I mean, he's had an all right season, but not just fantastic compared to the other DBs that have played. But that's not to downgrade him. I mean, he's a good player. I mean, he's a solid player. I think he's considering all schools. He's considering Michigan, another school. Certainly, that I think is very involved with him, trying to work on him. But I think his dream school is still FSU. And if we see this defense continue to improve like this, I just can't see him if FSU definitely wants him and still wants him. I just can't see him just dipping on FSU if the defense continues to grow and basically on what we saw. That was the first time this year we've seen a pulse and some excitement out of this defense. I mean, the effort and everything. So I think when we continue to see that growth, it's just hard for me to see, Amarian just dipping on FSU in this class and not signing with FSU. That would surprise me.
21 says, why is everyone talking about Brandon Jennings like he's Andy Katzenmoyer? Google it, kids. Dude,
because he's good. Yeah, he's really good.
Yeah.
Well, let's not sugarcoat it, guys. Yeah, he decommitted from FSU and committed to Michigan, but that doesn't take away what he is. I'm not one of those guys that they decommit and it's like all of a sudden they stink. It's like he's a monster. I mean, there's a reason they call him Godzilla. Like, he plays like a monster. Like, he is physical. The guy averaged 10 to 11 tackles a game last year. He can do exactly everything you want. He's very physical. He can play all 3 linebacker positions. Let's not sugarcoat. This dude's a beast. And FSU would love to, and it would be elated to get this kid back. Very good speed. Could track down the quarterback, even as a Mike linebacker, which I think that's his best position. He's special, guys, and he's a really good one. FSU's hoping to get him back. They're going to work on him till the pen hits the paper and to try to get him back. But let's not go there that he's not elite. Like, he's very elite. He's a very solid linebacker that FSU would love to have.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Have you seen the linebackers that are playing for Florida State currently, man. He looks like Andy Katzenmoyer compared to them. I think this is the dude that got Tamorian Terry and Pokey on the radar of a one Jimbo Fisher. Tom Parker asks, is FSU still interested in Tamorion's brother? He is starting to come on this year. They also have Elijah Stevens and Amorion Blanks, dynamic players in the open field.
Yeah, Thomas was a big part of. He brought. It was kind of both. It was like me and him, but he posted before I did. But we both knew about Tamorian, and so yeah, they were on. They're still talking, but it's nothing serious. Thomas, I mean, as far as his brother, I forget his last name, but anyway, yeah, he's a talented player though. Good player. I think that was more the last staff that was highly interested in him compared to this staff. But nothing with those guys seriously yet. With the guys he listed, Elijah Stevens and Amorion Blanks, I haven't heard anything heavy there. Certainly with FSU just yet. They are very high on the Georgia area. That's a state they recruit hard. That's a state they're gonna recruit hard for the continued future. South Georgia, North Georgia, it doesn't matter. They're going to go after those guys, but I haven't heard anything as far as there being some activity there. But yeah, I'm sure. I bet there. I bet Jimbo Fisher is very glad that he got on Tamorian Terry when he did, because his career has certainly been unreal at FSU already, and certainly it's worked out, I think, for both schools, both the school and the player.
Last one of the day. We've hit the hour mark. Ray Pereira asked Michael, how can we do better in Dade County? We used to own it. Yeah, man, there's not a lot of Miami kids on this class. What's going on with that?
Well, they have Kevin Knowles. He's in the original area of Miami. I think he's one of the best DBs out there in that area. I think certainly you can do better by winning because this staff is new. They're from a different area. So to establish that, you have to win. And that's what's going to catch recruits' attention. I mean, that's the biggest thing with Dade County is like they want to be with winners. They want to be with people that are going to show consistently good play on the field. And if you do that, it's going to take care of itself. I think David Johnson's doing a really good job building some inroads in there in that Dade County area. Obviously, in the Palm Beach area, Ron Dugans is very popular. I think Adam Fuller is another one that's very good in the South Florida area. I think they have guys that have already put their imprint as far as in that area of building inroads with relationships. But really in the Dade County area, it comes down to winning. And if they show what they're showing consistently, like we saw against North Carolina, I don't think you have to worry about Dade County. They're going to be a lot better in that area, and certainly it helps that Miami has turned things around as far as looking better on the field. But you can still get those kids if you go in there, because there's a lot of that's the thing people don't realize. Like there's a lot of those kids in Dade County that grew up Seminole fans because it's either Seminoles or Hurricanes. Some of them liked, some of them didn't. I think Daughtry Richardson's won a top 2022 offensive lineman. He's originally from Tallahassee, but loves FSU. I think FSU sits in a really good spot with him. So there's a lot of guys that are in the picture that when you consistently see winning and kind of Todd Blackledge kind of touched on this during the broadcast of the North Carolina game. The nation and the world of college football is better when FSU's winning. Like it's better for college football. And I think it's better, certainly that's what recruits want. I mean, they just want to see these guys put a winning product on the field. And if they show consistency, obviously the biggest telltale is when FSU hosts Miami next year. You need to go out there and take care of business, get the job done, certainly beat them. That'll have a significant effect on your South Florida recruiting.
All right, there we go. That's a wrap on things here for the day. But Michael, you'll be busy tomorrow, right?
Yeah, I'll be busy right after this. I'm going to take kind of a 10-minute break, guys, and then I'm going to get into your questions. I'm going to cover everything. Throw any small nuggets I might have that I'll drop in there. Maybe a small summary of the chat. I'll get to all your questions, and then tomorrow I am heading to Orlando, Florida. I'm going to do a nice exclusive feature with Chambray Jackson, new FSU commitment, defensive lineman, 4-star. So I'm going to do a little piece on him, maybe visit some other schools. I don't know. And if you got any suggestions for a good place to eat in Orlando, let me know, guys. So that's where I'll be. We're going to continue that. And I'm going to hit up some prospects, might do some, prospect updates with some guys that are either FSU targets or FSU commits, just to get them to give a feel for now the feeling about the FSU team compared to what they saw early in the year.
There we go. That's right, man. On the way up, Florida State takes on Louisville Saturday at high noon, but we got plenty of coverage between now and then. The Warchant report will probably be dropping later tonight, if not first thing in the morning.
Yep.
And Michael will have you covered on the PRB as he always does. Michael, your time, we appreciate it. We're taking next week off, but Michael will still be doing the mailbags on the PRB. So be a member of warchant.com. It pays. Thanks for your time, Michael.
You got it.